Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Vino Frankel, a Taste of Sculpterra, episode 14 that I bring to you each week. We record an episode about Sculpterra, about Arroway, about winemaking, grape growing, everything involved in the wine industry. So thank you for watching. Real quick, be sure to remember to like, comment, subscribe, ring the notification bell, leave a comment, ask a question. I love reading questions and comments, and I will respond on the next podcast. So today I have two new guests here in the Pastorables podcast studios. I've got Francisco Ramirez joining us today.
Hola.
Yeah, and Noah Zuniga.
Hola.
I got your name right?
Yeah,
Noah
Zuniga. Yeah.
Noah Zuniga, yes. So we've got two Mexican Americans with us today, and some people think I'm Mexican, but I'm not. My wife's Mexican. So we're going to have a Mexican themed podcast where we talk about beer versus wine, talking about Mexican food, Mexican restaurant, Mexican culture, and the majority of Californians are Mexican now. So I'm sure you knew that.
But I think that would also make you Mexican by marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My wife's told me that.
Yeah.
Okay,
It
so
goes
I'm
the other way,
Mexican.
so why not for you?
Why not? Yeah. So there is a, if Mexicans are the majority in California and I'm making wine, we need to target the Mexican culture and community and do fun things to encourage them to have wine. They've never tried wine, or some of them grew up tasting wine. Maybe they haven't, and it's a culture of beer. We're gonna, dive into this beer versus wine. I'm a beer fan. I like beer. A cold beer on a hot summer day is a great experience, but wine has better health benefits over beer. So beer is higher in calories, higher in carbohydrates. You get a beer belly, a beer gut. Wine doesn't have that issue as much. So, okay, well. First off, we just had our Christmas event on Thursday this last week. It was December 18th. It was an amazing time. We've got pictures up from the event. Noah was there.
Yeah. It was pretty fun.
Yeah. Francisco, you were at the Cambria. What is the official name?
It's called the Cambria Christmas Market in Cambria.
Right. And it's an amazing light show, food, vendors, music.
Yeah, they have, it's to celebrate the holidays, Christmas, and it's all holiday driven and holiday decorations. If you've never been, I really recommend it. It's really nice. Lots and lots of families go every year, and I keep meeting new people every year.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, our Christmas party, maybe not as big, but still pretty big. We had, I estimate we had 100 to 150 people. At one point, it might have been 200 when the kids went up and did their performance, the retelling of the birth of Jesus. They sang songs. Yeah, it turned into a dance party.
Yep.
For our employees. We took our employee Christmas picture. I couldn't gather all the employees. Some of them were inside pouring wine and working, but I got as many as we could. And the place looked amazing. It was a nice night. It wasn't too cold. It wasn't raining. The weather was perfect. And we just had a great time. We had a photo booth, which was new and fun. We had carriage rides. We had 3 food trucks. We had lots going on. And
A lot of lights. A lot of lights. It looks really good.
even with all the lights, my photographer was saying that it's still dark. Like, it's still hard to capture people's faces, especially the little kids on stage and the folkloric dancers that danced in front of the stage. It was a little dark. I think next year I'll add some spotlights to really shine them up. But the kids did really great. They were nervous. They practiced a lot. They gave it their all. Noah's son, Julian, was a part of it. Julian Alexander.
He was there. First time. That's his first time doing a play or something.
But I do remember your garden in the back, it's always been dark before. And then little by little, you've been adding more and more lights, because I remember the first time you had the lights put on the trees.
Right. Yeah, Manny Medina did that.
By Medina Light Show Design. And then, I mean, that just completely changed it. And then, reminded me of the downtown Paso Robles Park when they light up too. I was like, oh, it's the same thing. You got that same feeling, that same ambiance that it's lit up, So that's been great.
Yeah, it was sweet. There was a few practices we did with the kids on Tuesday night, Wednesday night, before the day of the big event, and I left the gate open, and a bunch of people came and showed up just to walk around because they heard our Christmas lights were on, so they wanted to just stroll through the garden and then take a peek at the practice and listen. And no, it's very pretty. It was a wonderful event. All right, well, what's going on in the winery and vineyard? Most of our workers have left and went to Mexico for Christmas vacation, so I'm down to just 3 workers. I've got Rojo, Ernesto, and Angel. They're we're doing a lot of cleanup projects. We're preparing for rain. We're supposed to get 3 inches of rain this week, starting tonight through Christmas Day, maybe even Friday. So lots of erosion projects around the property. But we also steamed all the empty barrels this week, rearranging lots of stuff. Our workers have Christmas Day off, obviously, New Year's Day off, but it's funny, even like in the downtime, there's still lots of projects. When you manage a vineyard, do the winery, the pistachios, the tasting room, there's never really a quiet time.
You always have something to do.
Always have something to do. Yep. We are going to start to prune. We're pruning Monday, January 5th. That's the first Monday in January. We're having a crew of 10 people come. We're going to start pruning Cabernet Franc, Mourvedre, and Petit Syrah. That's the tasting room. That's the vineyard right in front of the tasting room. So we're going to start there. I like to prune Petit Syrah especially early because we harvest it so late anyways that by pruning it early, it breaks bud early, it grows earlier, and we can harvest end of September instead of end of October. So just pruning early will promote an earlier harvest. But that's risky because if you prune early and the vines start pushing out new growth, and then you have a frost, say early April freezes, those buds can die, and you won't get a crop. But I still think it's worth the risk. And a lot of times in farming, it's a risk reward type situation. And people have asked me, how do you get your Petit Syrah so ripe? And it's like, well, it starts by pruning it early and telling the vine to start growing. And then typically the crop comes in earlier. All right, well, I'm going to ask both of you 2 questions. I want to start with Francisco here. Now, I know you're the president of the HBA, the Hispanic Business Association. You got the poster behind your head here.
Right.
But how did you get interested in the wine business?
Well, just being here, but basically I'm going to say you and Martha, giving us tastings and showing us different varieties, because like you said, Mexicano has always been cerveza and tequila. That's it's always been my to-go-to, un buen tequila, un tequila sabroso. But then being around you guys and you guys showing us, giving us tastings and showing us different wines, I've actually, as you now know, I'm very fond of the port that you make, and it's not just here. I mean, I've tried others. Here in Paso Robles, we have over 300 wineries, you being one of them. But I tasted, and till this day, I'm going to say my favorite port is definitely Sculpterra, the ones you make. So.
Yeah, and it's funny how you started out being, friend of the family. We consider you family, and we spend a lot of time with you. But you started out tasting wine. You told me one day, you said, "I can sell your wine. I have contacts." 'Cause a lot of people know you. You're very social, very friendly, and you're a people person. And you told me, "Hey, I have a friend at this Mexican restaurant and a friend at this pizza place. Let me see if they're interested in purchasing your wine." Or I don't think we even had that conversation. You just started doing it, and you said, "Hey, Paul, I have this chef that's interested in Arroway wine or Sculpterra wine."
It just happened, yeah. Just being around you guys and being around different businesses, and it's like you said, it's knowing people and greeting people and letting them know what's available here, and just hey, why don't you try this wine? You don't have you're not serving any wine. Well, would you be interested in try this? And like I just a couple of weeks ago, with downtown business, Paso Pizza Kitchen downtown on 12th Street. I told her, hey, you don't have any of Sculpterra's wine. Would you like to? And she's like, yeah, bring me a taste. And I did, and she's like, yeah, I'm interested. I'd definitely like to try your Viognier, because she didn't have any Viognier and other reds. So that's it's about talking, networking, and making relationships.
Yes.
Not just selling, but vice versa.
What was the first account you helped us get? Do you remember?
It would be the 3rd Street gasoline station, Third Base.
Third Base, yeah, on Spring Street,
yeah. And then Grapes and Wines. We got Viognier there because they didn't have a Viognier, even though they had shelves and shelves of wine. They didn't have any Viognier, and we told them, hey, we got some, so we took some samples there. But
and the store in Shandon, what about that?
Mexican Carniceria in Shandon carries Héroe, all 4 bottles of Héroe, and also port, and the reds have been going through there, and that's because not just locals, they recognize, they see the bottle, but the people that stop and drive by also through the 46. So
awesome, right? So you could mention a little bit about you're the president of the HBA and what that involves, and you do mixers and meetings. But how does your influence with the HBA? How can you help promote our wine more?
Well, I say just the same. Because the HBA is it's una cámara de comercio. Hispanic Business Association. It's just like another chamber. A lot of cities have chambers, but we're not city based. We're a nonprofit organization, and we actually have members from Shandon, San Miguel, all the way to Ventura. And a lot of people don't know that we're not just city bound, where most chambers are just city or locally. We are open to anyone and everyone that's willing to come in and join us and grow and network and share their products and services with other people, because that's how you also succeed and grow as a business, is networking and sharing and collaborating with others.
Mm-hmm. And you've done it. How many years now? You've been involved with the HBA? It's been 10 years.
Well, actually, the HBA, the Hispanic Business Association, has been together, and it started in 2012, and it registered with the state of California as a nonprofit organization. And since 2012, I've been around. But it's actually an organization that started by 4 wonderful women here in Paso Robles. And they met and they got together. And then on the second coffee meeting that they had, they invited me to join and be a part of. And I've been with them since, with this organization helping grow. But yeah, we've done fundraisers to raise money and give away scholarships, dinner galas, and also with that, like you said, collaboration. You have always been a part of the Hispanic Business Association, our first and only wine that started at the beginning. And I want to say thank you for being very supportive, allowing us to use your venue to do the events. Because if something that we've done also is promote Hispanic and culture and tradition, and one of those things that we've done is the celebration of Dia de los Muertos. And not many people know this, but we actually were the first ones to really start promoting that culture celebration of Dia de los Muertos in the North County in Paso Robles. And then if you pay attention and look back, people have now been doing it and duplicating and doing it and celebrating throughout the county. Because now other people do it. Other businesses are doing it. Beers do it, promote it, but they've done it forever. But just here locally in this county, and it goes to say something about when you're doing something and then you get copied or people are starting to duplicate and doing what you do, then there is a sense of success where if you're doing something, somebody else is trying to copy you. Entonces, you're doing something right.
Good. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we did that first Day of the Dead event at the tasting room, and it was a small gathering. And I remember we did the altar, and there was food brought in, and it was in the barrel room. And I think it was on the day, or it was an evening event,
November
and we
2nd.
had a DJ and dancing, and it was small. And then from there, it grew to the point where you do it at the Paso Park, and you get many, food trucks and vendors and dance groups, and it turns into a big thing.
Exactly, but you were the first venue that allowed us to do it. Also publicly. It was in your venue. But then I don't know if you remember, but we also brought in the Mexican consulate out of the office in Oxnard. They came in and also gave us their speech and, an explanation of what Dia de los Muertos is. We had a local priest from the Mission of San Miguel come in and give us their blessing. And then the following year, we also had the Mexican consulate come in with us and celebrate Dia de los Muertos. But they brought in a very, 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 very talented artist that made the picture out of colored sand in that front part of your tasting room. Yeah. If you remember that they made that, and it took hours. They came in early in the morning and took over your whole floor and just made that marvelous art of
very colorful. I remember
sand.
Yeah, painted sand.
Yeah.
Wow, I forgot about that. You're bringing back memories now.
And then we've also had Abraham. You've always dressed him up. Growing year after year after year in the skeletal stuff. But I remember you posting it in that front door where you have that horse sculpture. And then every year you dressed them up. That we did it, so that was
they
awesome.
Got bigger and bigger.
Yeah, heavier,
much heavier. Well, thank you, Frankie. That's really great, and we look forward to continuing partnering with the HBA. And Frankie's doing a good job locally getting the word out and selling our wine. So thanks for that. Noe.
Yes.
Now you the first time. Well, let me back up a bit. So you are your wife is my wife's first cousin. Mm-hmm. So that's our connection. And I don't remember the first time I met you. I was trying to remember, but
well, I don't remember neither. I have a really bad memory about that.
I think we had an instant connection because you. I think we both like working hard. You're a construction worker and a builder and an electrician. You do home building. And I don't know. We just connected when we first met. And I asked you to help out on Black Friday because I didn't realize this, but this year a lot of my workers, my regular staff, was going to be gone for Thanksgiving, and they wanted to leave early. So I was, just one person told me, "Hey, Paul, sorry, but I'm planning on being gone for Thanksgiving." And then the next day, another worker said, "Paul, I'm going to be gone. Is that okay?" And then all of a sudden, 3 or 4 people weren't going to come to help, and I said, "Oh man, I have to find other people to help." So I thought of Noe because he's been learning about wine. He likes wine, and you helped on the 4th of July. You helped.
I did.
You were one of our ATV people. Also, Frankie was an ATV person back in the day.
Yeah,
a shuttling people to and
not
from.
Crazy. I was always a careful driver for those ATVs. We got everybody from the front of the vineyard all the way to the front door. So
Yeah, it gets really packed in there. Yeah, I remember.
I liked it when I got a break. I went to go to the back of the vineyard and get some ice cream and some apple pie. Did you get some?
I didn't. No, I got ceviche though.
Oh, there you go.
Oh,
All right.
yes, I got ceviche. It was good.
So, Noe, tell us about your Black Friday experience working at Sculpterra, because you had never done any wine salesman, any of this kind of stuff, and I just threw you in. You were packing and taking cases out.
Yeah, I mean, it was just pretty much, you said, okay, so this is a list of all the wines. People will put a number in there and just fill up the boxes. It's a 12-pack, 12 bottles on the box. So they get to choose, 4 of this one, 4 of Syrah, 4 of Hero, Erwe. Like they can get whatever they want. It was just like 12 packs, and they were taking boxes and boxes and boxes out. It was like, so it was just 3 of us on the back that we were like actually kind of reading the paper, and then the other ones were helping to kind of put the bottles in the box and then wrap it up, put the name of the person.
So getting the orders done, getting the orders filled.
Yeah, get the orders ready to go,
And this is at 6 a.m., 7 a.m., early in the morning.
Yes.
Early in the morning. It's
People were
high energy.
they were really taking advantage of that deal. It's a really good deal, I have to admit. So yeah, that's a really good deal. 60% off on the Black Friday. That's pretty good.
It was a great deal. It was a lot of fun.
It was pretty fun. It was fun. It was my first time, and I think we did pretty good. Just being just a little bit, a little people. It was just like, as I said, it was not that many people back there, and we worked it out pretty good. Some people driving the dually out with the boxes in there, the hand truck, getting it out, put it on the cars, and then just like getting next paper. It's a lot of people there though.
Yeah, because I knew you would something like in your wheelhouse, something that you'd be able to do, Noe, because you worked at La Reina Market, which is at the Mexican market on 21st Street, which you were telling me, I mean, they get really busy.
Oh, yeah.
The time you've done that.
It's a go all the time, Like, people comes, they have to go, you got to keep moving forward and do the same thing all the time. But yeah, it was pretty much the same. The only thing I did have trouble with is finding out where the wines were actually at. Because, I mean, as I said, I've never been there before. So I had to find out where's this wine at, and where's the Hero wine, where's the Syrah, all the Sculpterra, all the sweet, all the, champagne, all this. So finding the bottles was kind of the part, like what I was struggling at the beginning. But then once I found out where they were, I was like, okay, I think I can do it now. So yeah, it was pretty fun.
Yeah, before I want you to share a little bit of your story of how you came to America and how that happened for you. But what interests you in wine?
What interests me in wine?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, to be honest, I've never tried wine before I met you guys. Like it was like all time, as Frankie
like
said, yeah, just beer and tequila, that was all about that. But I think what I like the most is when I actually have it combined with food. Like that will be like a good steak, and then I have a glass of wine with it. That will be like a part of like, okay. And same thing is just like, because it has more, as you say, Pablo, it has more health benefits than a beer, and I like a beer. Always like it, but it's just like, yeah, sometimes you just have to have a big steak with a good glass of wine. It's just hard for me to understand which wine is the correct one to choose, because there's a lot of them. A lot of them.
Well, that's really up to you, because everyone has individual palate.
Yeah,
and it's really you doing it over and over again and finding out which one. Oh, this red. Oh no, this Merlot. Oh, this Cab. And because then you're the one that's going to make that acquire, and where you feel comfortable pairing that wine, because like you're saying, finding out which one. Well, that's true, because not all red wine, but there's some red wines that are good with carnitas, carne de puerco, instead of the other one, because I've it's playing it, it's drinking it, it's eating it, it's combining it, and then you are seeing and finding out. Este es mejor con la carne de puerco. Este me gusta con la carne de res. El blanco, todos los blancos, white wines, Viognier that we do with Sculpterra is really good con los mariscos.
Okay, didn't know that. That's interesting.
Because it pairs and it helps your palate. Once you're eating that and then you're drinking that, you're combining, you're making that comparison work.
Yeah. So I think that's more than anything. Then it should be like me trying the wines, like tasting the wines, all of them, and kind of knowing which one is the one that I like the most with the food I'm having.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a general rule of thought. The general rule of thought is that white wine pairs with delicate food, like I'm talking about fish and maybe chicken, and then red wine pairs with steak because the astringency and the bitterness and the tannins in the red wine and the richness of the meat is like great. But then being more specific, like does Cabernet pair better with steak, or Primitivo, or Petit Syrah, or Pinot Noir? It's kind of, and then a lot of it goes down to the spices and the vegetables used in the dish too. It's like is the steak really peppery, or does it have carrots and potatoes mixed into it? So it's like trying to find those flavors you're eating paired with the wine that either has similar flavors or opposing flavors, and they cancel each other out. So
like
very
the Pinot that you make and that we tried goes great with paella. I made that pairing last time when we went to Templeton to their fiesta. And it did. I mean, it just combined great, and you actually enjoy it. Better.
Well, Noe, you told me this story once before. I know it could be a long story, so maybe an abbreviated version, but it was a great story of how you came to America. And I know your mom had a visa where she was able to go back and forth from America and Mexico, and you're from Michoacan, is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. So pretty much my mom, she, for situations in life, she had to move over here first before than I did. So I was staying in Mexico, Michoacan, for a long time, just pretty much by myself. And when I was going to high school on that time, I was 15. So she goes back to Mexico and she's like, "Well, I'm gonna get you a visa." Like, okay, sounds good to me. I always was one of those persons that said, even on my classes, on my English class more than anything, I never thought I was going to need English. Like, I was like, what do I need English for if I'm going to stay here? I was never thinking about coming to live here, honestly. I was like, I even had a huge argument with my English teacher saying, I don't need English for any reason. But
that was in Mexico.
That was when I was in Mexico. Yeah, when I was on secundaria, that will be middle school in here.
Yeah,
right.
Junior high.
Yeah, so I was in middle school, and I was like, I don't need English. I'm gonna be living here. I'm gonna make my life in here, and then I remember that my mom comes back and she's like, I'm gonna get you a visa so you can go for vacations down up to California. I was like, for how long? She's just the summer vacations, July. So I was like, that's fine. So she was gonna take me here so I can see the fireworks, for the 4th of July. I was like, okay, great. And so she got my visa and everything, and she had her own visa. So we came here, we flew in here, but then when we got here, because we got to Paso, we landed on LA, but they went for us and picked us up. My mom was living here in Paso already, and once we were at the house, she was like, "We're not going back, you know that, right?" I was like, "What?" And she's like, "Yeah, we're not going back. We're gonna stay here." I was like, "Well, I do want to go back because as I said, I never spoke English before. I didn't know what I was gonna do in here. So pretty much I was like, but the reason why I was like, okay, I kind of understand, because the only family I have is my mom and my sister. That's it. I don't have a huge family. I don't have like a lot of cousins, and I know that's weird because I'm Mexican, and I should have a huge family, but I don't. So pretty much, it was, as I said, it was during those summer seasons. So the fair is going on here, and we went to the fair, and that was like a day. 2 days after we got here, I think it was like the fair was going on. She took me to the fair.
Maybe you saw Frankie. Frankie works at the fair.
Maybe it was Frankie, the guy that.
Right.
So we went to the fair. I told my mom, I don't know what I'm doing here, and she was trying to convince me to stay here. She was like, "Yeah, I want you to keep going to school in here." Whatever, we went to this place, and then I was trying to get into she got me a bracelet so I can get on the rides, right? And then I was like, I don't want to, I don't know. I was kind of thinking about, I don't want to be here. So then I was online. I got in line to wait for what's that? The game that goes all the way around, the roulette. Ferris wheel. Thank you. Yeah, so I was waiting in line for the Ferris wheel, and then it was a long line. It was a long wait, and it was just by myself. I didn't have any friends. As I said, I don't have any family. So
second day in
day
Paso
here.
Robles.
So nothing, like no one. I didn't know anyone. So I was waiting in line, and then once I get to the front, the guy there starts saying. I think he only spoke English, obviously, but he tells me, I remember, on that time I didn't understand what he was saying, but now I do. He was like, you can't get on this ride by yourself. You need to have somebody else. Like, it's not a one person ride. It's at least 2 or 3 people, that they have to get in the ride with you. Well, my friend was like, ¿qué? No entiendo, no te entiendo. And then he was like, yeah, you gotta have another person in here. It's like, I don't know what you're saying. Like, I don't understand. And I was getting nervous because I don't know what he was saying. I was just like, like, my bracelet is right here. Let me get in the right. And
you were in front of the line, so
I was in front of the line, so everyone was behind me, and they were waiting for me. So what the guy does is he starts screaming. He's like, anybody wants to get with the guy? Anybody wants to get with him in the ride? And then I heard somebody laughing, and I was like, "Oh, they're laughing at me!" Like, what am I doing here? And then I just got embarrassed. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing here, so I'm just gonna get out of the line. And then the guy was like, kind of like, I just walked away. I was like, no, gracias, like, no gracias, and I just walked away. And then the guy was like screaming, "Hey, no, yeah, come back!" But I was too embarrassed to stay there. So once I got out of that line, I was like, "Yes, okay, I don't like this. I don't like this. I honestly don't like this." And then it was like, but then I realized the only person I have that I was actually trying to be with, it was my mom, because you never know. Your mom, your dad. My mom is the only family I have, so pretty much I don't want to live, and something bad happening to her and not being with her, or feel bad because I didn't spend time with her. So pretty much what I did, it was like, okay, I'm gonna stay because I love my mom and I want to actually be with her, because our relationship was kind of always like a long distance with my mom.
Oh, yeah.
So it was like
she had to make that sacrifice like all immigrants do.
Yeah.
Of especially Latino America, is coming over here, start working and sending money back to take care of you. But yeah, they leave their families behind. That's the the American dream is to do better for the family and see what they can do. And part of that is immigrating here into the U.S., which is what's beautiful about the U.S. It's a melting pot of, immigrants that have come here throughout many years. But people, forget that it's a hardship. Es duro. Es
It's really hard.
Dejas a la familia, dejas a tus
Todo.
hijos. But it's also nice of what has come now. You guys are here together, because of her sacrifice and what she's done and bringing you here.
Your mom was working in both places, America and Mexico, right? She was going back and forth.
She was going back and forth. She used to come so before she was here in Paso Robles, she was actually going to Paso, Texas. I don't know, something with Paso she likes about it. I don't know.
El Paso, yeah.
Yeah, so she was going to Paso. She used to buy a lot of things and then go back to Michoacan, resell them, and she used to make money of that. Even the school buses. I don't know, they did something with them. They cross over by the school buses, the yellow ones, and they go down and they resell the school buses, and they will make money out of that. It was good, but as I said, I used to be pretty much alone majority of my time.
Right.
But yeah, it was. So I decided, I was like, okay, I'm gonna stay here. And then for me,
be with her. And
yeah, I'm
start
gonna
enjoying her.
I'm gonna be with her. I need to spend some time. My mom always taught me to be responsible, and she always taught me to work since I was a kid. She used to work at a gas station. I used to go there when I was like, what was my age? Like 9 or so. And I used to go there to help her out. Down in Mexico, you don't pour your own gas. You have people. My mom used to pour the gas for them. You get there, you have my mom used to be the one. And then while they were getting gas, I used to go up to the guy that was on the car, and I used to go, hey, you want me to check the pressure of your tires, and check the pressure, make sure everything is right, and
clean the windows,
and then they used to give me a tip, like 5 pesos, 10 pesos, but you have a bunch of cars every day, so I used to get a lot of money. Well, no, it was a lot of money for me being a kid, and I used to have like 200 pesos at the end of the day.
She taught you, she showed you a good work ethic.
Yes, and that's what I really appreciate about my mom, that she taught me to be responsible and working since I was a kid. That's a big part. So when I decided, okay, now I want to spend time with my mom, it was like, okay, I gotta learn the language. That was hard. And the culture, like you gotta understand what it's all this about. Not just the language and just trying to be different, like you gotta understand what people think, and you gotta put yourself into their shoes as well. So it took me because I went to high school. I remember now, like I started going to high school at the end of my freshman year, because that was right, like over there in Mexico you have 3 grades of middle school. It's primero, segundo, tercero, first, second, third grade of middle school.
Yeah, the same.
And then it will be high school. But I believe here's a year more of high school.
4 years here.
4 years of high school. Yes. So when I was 15, I started high school, and then so I went to high school, but I didn't know any English. So my freshman year was really hard. Then we got second year. I had a really good teacher, Mrs. Stover. She's really good. I think she retired already, but she was pretty good, and she taught me English. She was the teacher for newcomers. Was the class. Newcomers were everyone that just got here. They didn't know the language. We had that class, and they will teach you English from nothing, from zero, going up. And at the same time, I was taking regular English classes, like everybody else. And and then we had a program called Compass program. When I was on my third year of high school, we had a program called Compass program, and we were helping people that didn't know the language during tutorial and after school meetings. Like it was a bunch of people that speak both languages, English and Spanish, and we used to help them. Now I was part of that program. Now I was a tutor. I was helping them as well. Now I can help them. 2 years later, I learned the language really fast. I tried, and once I got it, I was like, okay, let's try giving back what I got now. And we had this program, and we started helping them. We had all these people that were just barely getting here, and every time I see them, I was like, that used to be me.
Been there, done that. Exactly.
That used to be me. I didn't know any English, and now look at me. I'm taking honors classes. I'm taking all this, physics. I'm taking classes that I never thought I was gonna be taking in English.
Yeah, weren't you telling me that even after you finished your freshman year, then you realized you had classes you had to retake because you never took.
So since I got too late for freshman year, I had to become a super senior. So I had on my super senior year, I was taking freshman classes because I didn't have health class, which is just one of the basic ones, because I took exams and all that, but I had to retake the class. I had to pass that, and English 1. So I was a 17-year-old with a 15-year-old kids on the. It was just like it was nice. I talked to other people that was like, but it was fun to just kind of go on those classes, and on that time I was kind of taking advantage of it and taking other classes as well, just because I could, and I was working at that time already too. That's when I was like, okay. So it was pretty fun. That's the only thing is just like I was almost done with high school, and they told me, okay, you need to take these 2 classes. And I was like, if you don't have them, you won't be able to graduate. And so they gave me 2 more classes for my last year. So I was like, okay, I'll go back to it. But yeah.
No, I think it tells a lot about somebody. Like, you get thrown into a new country and you don't know the language, and you learn the language, and you go through our schooling, and like you've told me that you had high school teachers that were really kind and helpful and resourceful and got you hooked up with the right people, and then you met friends, friends, and you went from not knowing anybody to building a community, and then you started working young. And I think, like Frankie mentioned, being a hard worker and giving it your all, trying hard, it's like really, making an effort. So, and it's an amazing story. And like people tell me, oh, it's hard to learn English, or it's there's not enough help, or this. I mean, you're a success story of somebody who came here, learned the language, did what you had to do to graduate high school, and now you got a job and a wife and a son and a family, and it's just great. So, and you still go back to Mexico, and you go back to Michigan to visit your mother. Because
I found my wife, and that's part of the thing too. Once I found my wife, I was like, okay, so
we're staying.
Yeah, now I have my kid. Now I have my kid. It's just like, yeah, we're staying. We're not going anywhere. So and now we go for vacations. Like probably next month, I'm going on vacation. So it's like, we just go back.
¿Qué parte de Michoacán van?
Yo soy de Apatzingán. Yo soy de Apatzingán. So I go there once in a while, and then I go to Piedras Blancas. That's another place. That's really peaceful place in there. Piedras Blancas is really...
Okay, yo también soy nacido en el estado de Jalisco, en la ciudad de Guadalajara.
De Guadalajara.
Y este año se me hizo invitar a Pablo y a toda su familia, vino y su esposa con mi sobrino, fueron a visitarnos allá a la casa de Guadalajara, que es tu pobre casa también, para que vengas ahí.
Muchas gracias.
Con mi hermana, la mayor, y mi cuñado, y eso, estuvieron allí una semana, no, 3 días, ¿verdad? Porque ya estabas allí. So 3 días vinieron allí.
Last year we went down
a la ciudad de Guadalajara.
Yeah. How was that, Pablo?
It was fun. Guadalajara is a big city. I mean, I'm more of a country person. I like, farming, agriculture, country life, and Frankie took us to the big parts of the city, which was great. And it was great to see the and the big churches, and the stores and shopping. But it's like New York City in Guadalajara. It really surprised me. And just to move from one part of the town, one part of the city to the other, could take you all day with traffic.
So you got to see some parts of where they make tequila, or do you?
We didn't go to tequila.
No, we wanted
We're gonna
to.
do
We
that next
planned
time.
it, but we didn't have time. Pero sí lo llevamos a like he said, churches, la Virgen de Zapopan. We went there, Tlaquepaque also.
Tonalá. We
And
went to
Tonalá. And then we just stayed home.
Okay. Yeah, because it will be interesting that you go over there and kind of see the process of making tequila, since you already know the process of making wine.
What we did do this year, Paul, is I actually brought in we had a maestro tequilero
Oh, okay.
that came to Paso Robles and visited, and I also showed him a couple of restaurants. We went and did some tasting also, and their wine is also at Grapes and Wines here in Paso Robles on 13th Street.
Their tequila.
Yeah,
They sell their tequila.
yeah, I said wine, didn't I?
Yeah, I was like, wait.
So yeah, so then, and I told him, I was like, hey, vamos a ver a una winería para que tú conozcas a un maestro también del vino rojo de la uva, así como tú, porque él es maestro tequilero. And he's like, yeah, vamos. And I called Paul. I was like, hey, Paul, I got, a tequila maker, because you have time? And he was like, yeah, sure, bring him in. So I brought him in. He was at the, what's it called? The barrel room?
Yeah, it was during harvest, so we were doing punch downs and pump overs. He
Right.
got to see the crushed grapes in the barrel and do a punch down.
Maestro tequilero.
He had a lot
with
of questions.
With the maestro de vino también.
And he knew
Yeah,
about-
you had the two maestros right there.
Yes,
Yeah, that's good.
together at his winery.
And he knew about
inside the
yeast,
barrel
and
rooms.
he knew about fermentation.
Right, he
and
was asking you.
yeah.
He was asking you all those questions. All
Yeah,
those,
it was neat. And his
about
tequila
making.
is distributed everywhere, right?
Yes,
It's all over the country.
It's now and worldwide. El tequila Atanasio.
Atanasio.
So
Yeah, you gave us a bottle that I gave to my wife. She's going to try it.
yeah, because
she's
also
the tequila drinker.
también le gusta el tequila.
Sí, ¿a quién no?
A su esposa de
Oh,
Pablo.
a Pablo también le gusta el tequila, con una
También.
cerveza después encima.
No, y su hijo me prepara, ¿cómo se dice? Los tragos del chivo.
Oh, ya, los
Pajaretes.
pajaretes.
Sí, porque ellos tienen animales allí en su casa de él. So voy a visitarlos y siempre que voy que hay leche.
Un pajarete.
Su hijo
You
va y
gotta
agarra los chivos, los prepara. All by himself. I was like, wow, check you out. But yeah, he's out there grabbing and bringing the goat, tying his legs in the back, tying them down to the front. Y lo ordeña. And then, I got a bottle of tequila, so me lo preparo
Put it in
un chocomil. Fresh pajaretes at Pablo's house.
Yeah, so it's goat milk with tequila
Y
and
chocolate.
a chocolate powder.
Chocomil.
Powdered chocolate, yeah.
And the milk comes out of the goat hot. It's 98
Yeah.
degrees.
Fresco.
It's it.
So también
Interesting
tenemos y
thing.
hacemos pajaretes aquí en Paso Robles, en la casa de Pablo.
Goat milk.
All right, well let's move on. I want to discuss the world of wine, and for this segment, you guys, I wanted to talk about beer versus wine. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy beer. I love beer. But I really think, of course, beer can be paired with wine, and there's different beers. There's IPAs, and there's, light, medium, heavy-bodied beers. There's porters. There's really dark beers. If you've gone to Firestone, have you been to Firestone and done a beer tasting? You can taste, the full gamut of different beers. And there's, strong beers, light beers, medium-bodied beers. It's a lot like wine. But, I think, in general, wine is healthier than beer. Wine contains fewer calories than beer, with red wine offering more health benefits like antioxidants. Beer is more commonly associated with belly fat and has higher calories and carbohydrates. That's why you get full when you drink beer. It fills you up. While red wine is linked to lower fat and actually helps you lose weight, in moderation. Again, drinking in moderation. So beer does have health benefits. I know, back in the early church, in the first century and 1000 AD, that beer was drank in the monasteries more than water, because during the fermentation process, it kills bacteria and outcompetes other bugs. So sometimes you get sick drinking water, but drinking a fermented drink was actually healthier for you than drinking, the groundwater, which can make you sick. So, a light fermented drink, certainly. But, I love talking on this podcast that, wine has health benefits. It's good for your heart, cardiovascular system, your cognition. It helps with Alzheimer's. Beer doesn't have all those health benefits. It does have some gut health with fermentation, can be helpful. But overall, if we're just comparing, health benefits of beer versus health benefits of wine wins out. And we started this conversation talking about how, the majority of the people in California are of Mexican descent. And, I want to market our wines to the Mexican culture. And I'd love it to be you go into a Mexican restaurant, you order bistec, carne asada, pollo, al pastor. I mean, there's so many great Mexican meats, and meat and red wine. Meat with Zinfandel, Syrah, Cabernet, Petit Syrah, Mourvedre, Pinot Noir. I mean, the list just goes on. I think there's a lot of opportunities pairing Mexican food with California wine, right?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
So, Frankie, how do we do this? How do we encourage restaurant goers, people going out to a Mexican restaurant, instead of ordering a Pacifico, instead of ordering a beer, ordering a glass of red wine?
Well, let them know what is tasteful and how is that going to help you enjoy that plate that you're eating. Like you said, meats are great with red wines. And then white wines, the viña that you make is great with mariscos, shrimp, seafood, fish. It just allows you to enjoy it better when you pair it with the right food. So it's letting people know that this goes great pairs with what you're eating, not just a beer at the end, just so you can finish eating, processing what you just ate. But it helps your enjoyment of what you're eating when you pair it with something good, because it helps your el paladar.
Yeah, but I think like, for example, if you have a ceviche, what wine will you use with the ceviche? Because for me, at ceviche, I get a ceviche and I just like, okay, let's get a beer with it. Yeah.
I would say a cold Viognier.
A cold Viognier.
Porque, like you said, ceviche is already, it's being served, it's being made cold to be eaten cold. So va bien con un Viognier helado, frío. Y también
rosé, great
que
wine.
esté helado, que esté the white wines, que esté helado, to go with that cold serving that you have of that fresh fish.
And the rosé is tropical, so you're getting grapefruit and papaya and melon and cantaloupe and honeydew, and those flavors are different from the shrimp, but they complement each other. It works really well. I love rosé and shrimp as a.
So it sounds like you guys
pairing.
have tried the food, like Mexican food, before with wine. Have you, Pablo?
Yeah, we did. My wife has a wine group called Latina Divas in Wine, and we did a Mexican restaurant winemaker dinner. It was La Casa de Amaya, if you remember them.
Right.
And it was 5 courses, Mexican food paired with our wines. We did it at the tasting room. It was really fun. And they did a chocolate mole with Petit Syrah. And it was like pretty intense mole with the spices and flavors to it. And Petit Syrah having a lot of oak and smoke and barbecued notes to it.
It matched good.
It was really good, and it was. I had never had. I've had mole before, but never chocolate mole. And Petit Syrah, I was like, oh wow, this is going to be interesting. It was really good. And then that was the day where even just the appetizer, we did just chips and guacamole with rosé, and like it's guacamole has got that fruitiness and that freshness and acidity, and with rosé, which is very similar palate. Yeah. Those two is just like everyone loved that. It's like, can I get more chips and guacamole and another glass of rosé? It's like great. I also think when we're talking about like Mexican food and wine, do you think that it's I think like one beer is equivalent to one glass of wine, but like one bottle of wine is you're getting a lot more alcohol. So I think restaurants, if they can sell wine by the glass, and just get a glass of sparkling, a glass of rosé. And I think sometimes people, I've had a lot of Mexican people tell me, "Oh, I drank a bottle of your wine and it knocked me out." I'm like, "Well, you're not supposed to have the whole bottle. Like, a bottle of beer is not equivalent to a bottle of wine. A bottle of beer is 5% alcohol. A bottle of wine is 15% alcohol, and it's a big volume compared to a beer." So I think just teaching people, you just have a glass, and if restaurants could offer wine, Mexican restaurants could promote wine by the glass paired with food.
Yes, I feel like that's the main thing. You gotta teach people, because I'm just talking from the non-experience. Like, I haven't tried a asada tacos or something like that with a wine, because I wouldn't know what to pair it with. But now that you guys, like you said, were set with guacamole, mole with it's just like
petit sirah.
Petit sirah is just the fact of knowing what kind of wine goes with what. And you said earlier, Frank, we gotta kind of test, to learn. Okay, this one, I like this one with this plate, or I will take this one with this other one.
Yeah, because he was saying about the petite matching the mole, because of the mole having all those spices, and chocolate matches. And it's the same thing, like a lot of people have or make tacos de camarón, or fish tacos. También van buen y se complementan con un vino, con un rosé, con un chardonnay, con un viognier, porque son vinos blancos y complementa el marisco. So le da otro sabor, no nomás at the end, una cerveza te le echas. But it's not drinking the whole bottle. It's enjoying it.
It's just like
take a glass.
You think we can make like a what's called like a table of saying these wines go with this plate? Like this, like you were saying, this type of wines will go with the seafood. These other ones with the steak. These other ones with the pork. Because you have a lot of people that eats. The most popular is asada and al pastor.
Yep.
Those are the two that you will see a lot of people eating, asada and al pastor. So it will be more like having like a table of saying, okay, you can try this, or these are the wines I can tell you that it tastes good with this.
Right. And one of the places that Pablo mentioned earlier was, bringing in wines to restaurants and to businesses is through friendship. I had my friend, mi amigo Pepe, who it runs La Parrilla restaurant in Atascadero, Paso Robles, and Arroyo Grande. And they're carrying our wines. And something that we did is I ordered and sat down with them and ate, and then, had a glass of wine with los mariscos that I had with that dish, y enseñarlos. But that's one of the businesses where we're at. Sculpterra is being served as La Parrilla restaurant. And it's, them also knowing, because, todos los mexicanos, comida mexicana con una cerveza, pero también va con un vino.
Yeah, exactly.
Y se complementa. It helps the enjoyment. It helps.
Yeah, because I feel like a beer is like a tradition for Mexican culture. Like down in Mexico, you see these commercials. This marketing going out around is like, drink a beer. You have these people sitting around at the table, and you have a beer, and it's the whole family. Like dad and the uncle are drinking beer. And it's like the commercial is like, drink your cerveza with barbecue, and I don't know. It's just it's like a tradition. Same with another type of drinks, like a lot of that. So it will be more like kind of teaching people that it can be, instead of a cerveza, it can be a wine.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like those commercials in Italy or France are all about a family getting together and having a glass of red wine at dinner. So it has to start with marketing, advertising, and start at a young age. Like,
yes.
I'm having lamb with Zinfandel. Those work great. Yes, lamb pairs with beer, but I think you have more options with wine, and it complements the palate really well.
Well, yeah, because just like you said, beers are also different. So are wines. There's many different wines that go with different foods. So, yeah.
Well, let's move on to the event calendar, Sculpterra event calendar. We're open New Year's Day, which is next Thursday. We are closed Christmas Day. We're open New Year's Day. And then we're doing a winemaker dinner at Manny's Pizza, January 15th. We've got the menu posted online. After that, we've got 2 wine club parties, open house parties, February 21st, 22nd. Doing a blending party on the 28th. I'm going to go in one of these future podcasts. I'm going to really talk about that, how I do the blending party. And then we've got the Zinfandel Festival, which just said how Zinfandel pairs with lamb. That's a classic pairing. We're doing a food and wine pairing through the garden, 4 different appetizers at 4 different sculptures. We call it our Taste and Tour in the Garden event. That's March 21st. Zinfandel Festival weekend. Zinfandel is called the heritage grape of Paso. It was one of the first grapes planted in the Paso Robles region. It grows great, east side, west side, whatever part of Paso. Zin is a great grape to grow. And so we have a whole weekend dedicated to the Zinfandel Festival. Well, now my too much information section where I talk about something personal that you might not know about me. One thing you might not know is I'm a coffee drinker. I love coffee. And when I met my wife, Martha, I was drinking, 3 cups in the morning of, black coffee. I was never a coffee drinker with, cream and sugar. I never liked doing any of that. I just like drinking black coffee. And coffee by itself has a lot of caffeine. It really speeds you up, hypes you up. I didn't need that. I have so much energy as it is. I'm such a hyperactive guy. And, coffee, like wine, in moderation is healthy. Overdoing it is not so healthy. So my wife convinced me. She said, you should try an alternate form of coffee because you don't need all that caffeine. You don't need all that, it hypes you up and then you have that drop down. So she introduced me to High Coffee made by High Body. And they have a product called Black Coffee, which has all kinds of, it's a dietary supplement. It's also just a very healthy drink. It does have real coffee in it. So I've tried a lot. Let me back up a bit. My wife tried getting me off coffee for years. And a dandelion coffee, right? Like made from flowers, and tried all kinds of different coffee alternatives, but I never liked the taste. I actually enjoy the taste of coffee. I like the coffee beans and the roasting and the smell of coffee, like going into a coffee shop and smelling that. Maybe because I'm a winemaker and I like oak barrels have that toasted component to them. Okay. But anyway, so she wasn't having any success introducing me to a coffee alternative. And then one day she said, hey, I got this product, High Body, High Coffee, and they have one line within their company called Black Coffee, which actually has a small amount of coffee in it. So it's got maca, which is an ancient root. It's good for, it's got vitamins B1, B2, B6. It's got collagen, which is good for your skin, good for your muscles. It's got moringa, which is known as the tree of life. It helps with your aging and breaking down your nutrition. And it's got proteins, vitamins, and minerals. It's got green tea. Their green tea that they make is really intense, but this has just a small amount of green tea, which is an excellent antioxidant and anti-cancer, immune system. It's a stimulant. So anyway, it's got all these health benefits, right? So I didn't really care so much about the health benefits, but it's nice they have all these health benefits. I cared about how it tastes, and it tastes great.
Does it taste good?
It tastes good. It's a great product. It tastes like coffee, but it's not coffee. So I started drinking. This was 3 years ago now, and I drink it every day. I have, probably 3 scoops. It comes in a powder form. Heat up hot water, mix it in. So it's a great coffee alternative. All these benefits from it. And it kind of, I love having something hot in the morning. I love to start my day with a cup of coffee. So I've got this High Body, High Coffee alternative. So thank you, Martha, for introducing me to this. And I'm just glad I found something because, I know you were on a mission to get me off of coffee because I was a big time coffee drinker. I was overdoing coffee. And now with this product, I can drink as much as I want. And it really there's no harm to you. It's got green tea and maca and collagen and all these healthy things. It's not going to hurt you. You can just keep drinking. All right, now, animals in the vineyard. Instead of doing the animals in the vineyard section, I wanted to open it up to the two of you, to Noah and Frankie. If you had any questions for me, I know this podcast is running long. We're having a good time. We're having a fun time doing it. So I'll try to keep my answers short. Just questions that maybe you guys have that you want to know more about grape growing, winemaking. Well, whatever you got.
I do. Speaking about wines and their benefits, is like I was mentioning to Noel. I started tasting wine with you and your family at your vineyard, and you showed me more, and I got to get to know more and taste more, and I drink more wine myself. But what is, if any, tell me what the antioxidant properties are of drinking wine to your health, to your body.
Yeah, antioxidants, it's all about the phenolics, which phenolics, if you get really technical, it's organic chemistry. It's the benzene ring, aromatics, and phenolics. They're all in that same group. And it's good for your heart. It lowers your blood pressure. It reduces your risk of heart attack. Mentally, it's good. You can get antioxidants from eating blackberries, blueberries, raisins, but you get a lot more concentrated amount of antioxidants drinking red wine. Now, it's got to be red wine because red wine is fermented on the skins, and the red skins is where the antioxidants are found. So white wine, we don't use the skins. You ferment the juice by itself and bottle it without it being fermented on the skin. So yeah, antioxidants are a huge benefit. There's resveratrol is a type of is one of the antioxidants that's been proven to be good for your heart. So yes, a glass of red wine has a large amount of antioxidants, which are very good for you, indeed.
Okay, so I do have a question for you. It's so since same thing as Frankie, I just met wine thanks to you. I've never had one before. So is there any wine that's made in Mexico or Mexican wine that you have tried before, or like you guys know about? Like, have you tried one before?
Yeah, actually, one of the HBA friends of ours, forgetting her name now, the librarian.
Angelica
14. Yeah, she has a sister that lives in Baja California in Rosarita, and they go wine tasting all the time. They have a similar climate to we have. They have, just like us, they have a desert behind them and an ocean in front of them, so they get that 100-degree days, 60-degree evenings in the summer. It's dry, and they have a small Mexican wine region in Baja California, and she's introduced me. She's brought me bottles of wine, and they're pretty good. I enjoy them. What's funny is when you drive through that area of Baja, the vines are trained lower to the ground on the trellis because the people that work them are not so tall, so they're shorter workers, and they're just right there. But it's a great wine region. Also in Zacatecas, I know there's vineyards. I know there's plenty of vineyards now in Mexico.
And right now, good question, Joel. But yeah, in Mexico, I mean, it's the growing. People taste for wine is growing. It is growing. Okay. We have now el Valle de Guadalupe right there in Baja California that he's talking about. But that's the place of Mexico right now that's known for el vino rojo, el vino tinto, el vino de la uva,
and they do wine tastings in these vineyards
in el Valle de Guadalupe. Really so cool. Yeah, but my goal is to go there, el Valle de Guadalupe, with Sculpterra wine and have them try ours, so we can compare. Como saying, like you say, you were asking him, has he tried Mexican wines? Yeah, but I also want them to taste California wines.
Yes, you want to show them.
So, that's one of my goals. Is
to show off.
Go there and take some bottles of California wine with there, because I met people downtown last week that were asking, hey, is there any Mexican wines? And I was like, no, we don't have Mexican wines here. This is all California wine, but we do have just like, Paul here, winemaker, we have a couple of, Mexicanos that are also winemakers and have their own labels and are, up and coming and going and starting to make, because they've learned from other winemakers here how to make wine. So now they're also having their label and having their own wineries and putting their label on the bottle, Mexicanos.
Okay.
But they're making California wine just like Paul.
Okay.
Well, does that answer your
Yeah,
question?
that does.
And
That
then
does.
also
It's just-
on that is because I travel a lot, and one of the places I've gone several times is Mexico City, La Ciudad de Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
They have a plaza of just vino, de uva. Just the whole plaza. It's
Made
all
in
about.
there?
It's all about wines. They have different stores, different markets there, and it's world wines. Because I met someone that was coming from France to work there, just at that little shop, para el vino francés.
Right.
So that's another thing that I want to do with
Pablo's
is
wine.
use it to go down there and put it there and have it there. And hey, Pablo, you got to pay for my plane trip. So
To Mexico City.
because we're gonna go take
We're gonna take
Sculpterra
some-
wine,
yeah.
Edway wine over there. So
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Well, we're almost about to taste wine on the show here today. But before we do that, I wanted to show you guys a picture of different bottle sizes. If you notice next to Frankie, we've got a 500 milliliter bottle, which is that late harvest, that little bottle. And we've got a 3-liter bottle, and we've got a Magnum. So very interesting, different sizes. So you got your standard bottle is 750 milliliters. A Magnum is 1.5 liters. A double Magnum is a Jeroboam. There's a Jeroboam, a Rehoboam, a Methuselah. So these are all the kings of Israel back in the day, at the time BC. So different bottle types, different sizes. For my wedding, we did a 6-liter bottle that we still haven't opened, but I bottled a special blend for my wife to be. We had it on our table. I do this lots of weddings. We get requests for these larger bottles. These bottles here today all are filled with wine. You could have a dummy bottle and filled with water and food coloring. These have the wine in them, and you can purchase these bottles at the table at the tasting room. So that the largest bottle we sell is a 6-liter bottle, which is a Imperial or a Methuselah. But you can look these up. Very interesting. It's the hardest part is bottling these wines because the corks are so big. You need to get a special corker in order to compress the cork and get it to fit inside the neck of the bottle. And then you wax it. You got to have 2 or 3 people help you hold the bottle to dip it in the wax crock pot. But wine ages better in bigger bottles because it's more wine for less surface area, less oxidation. So if you're really serious about aging wines, I know a lot of people that are wine collectors. They collect double bottles. They collect the magnums of certain wines that they like because the wine will age slower, hold up better. Then the problem is once you open those bottles, now you're opening and there's a lot of wine.
A lot of
so you
wine
got to have
there.
a party, a family get together.
that's a really bad problem to have, Pablo. You got to start drinking the wine.
Well, once you open these bottles, there's no turning back.
There's no stopping.
There's a lot of wine.
You gotta finish the bottle.
Right. So this 3-liter bottle is the equivalent of 4 bottles of wine right there. And then the 6-liter bottle is 9 bottles of wine. So great.
Okay.
Love it. So yeah, the biggest bottle I've ever done is a 6-liter.
Question on the size of the bottles. I noticed that everyone that has and makes ports or sweeter wines, it's a smaller, skinnier bottle or a smaller, short bottle. Why is that? Is there a reason?
I think it's just a traditional style and to set the wine apart. Usually if you're having a dessert wine, you don't need to drink as much. It's hard to drink a lot of sweet wine, if it kind of it affects your palate and gets to you quicker, so you bottle less of it.
I enjoy your port. I enjoy your sweet wine.
I've seen you drink it
I
with
don't
a
have
straw.
a difficult time drinking. Yeah, I think it's like a chocomil. You know, Pancho
easy.
Pantera. Yeah, Pancho Pantera chocomil.
Maybe
when I'm
we-
having
yeah.
his port.
Yeah, but it's easy for someone that can drink a kawama, use one hand. You know, it's the same size bottle.
size.
It's like drink it all.
That's I think it's just a historical, traditional way of bottling is typically dessert wines are you're offered less when you get to the dessert course of dinner, you'll have a small amount of dessert wine with your small piece of chocolate cake or apple pie or pumpkin pie or whatever you're having it with. But certainly you can bottle a dessert wine in a larger bottle. Well, let's taste. We're gonna try 3 wines. We're going to try 2 vintages of Syrah. We've got 2023 and 2022. I thought this would be fun. We can compare how the years differ. And then we'll end with a late harvest Zinfandel, the 2023 late harvest Zinfandel. So don't go anywhere. I'm going to get the glasses.
Okay.
Here we go. 2 glasses here. You guys hold this.
Thank you.
Glass.
So we say once we open it, there's no going back. Let's
No,
open this one.
entonces tiene que tomar todos ya hasta que se acabe.
We'll just do a little bit. Just a taste. Oh, I spilled.
That's alcohol abuse and wine abuse.
Sí, claro.
All right.
Okay.
So, a ver, para la gente que no sabe, for people that, you know, are like Coed
me right
and me,
here.
learners and viewers, you know, usually I would just open the bottle of cerveza and drink it.
Yes.
How do we go about after it's being poured?
Yeah, the first thing to do is to look at the color. So you've got the 5 S's of wine tasting: sight, swirl, sip, savor, spit. So we're looking at what the wine looks like. Is it dark? Is it light? Is it clean and clear? That's a good, some wines are unfiltered or unfined and they'll be cloudy. Our wines are lightly filtered, so there shouldn't be any bugs or flies or tartrates in the wine. This is the
sight.
23 Syrahs. We've got our Golden Morning Cat on the label. The only difference here is the 23 I did in a Bordeaux bottle, a Claret bottle. The next one we're going to taste, 22 Syrah, is in a Burgundy bottle. So in France, you're not allowed to do this. In France, if you're bottling Syrah, it must be in this bottle shape. It's the wine laws. They have their AOC. That's what it's called, the Appellation Laws of France. But in California, we don't have these laws. So we can use this shape. We could use another shape. We can do whatever we want. So.
No appellation laws.
We have a few laws. Like for a wine to be called Syrah, it has to be 75% Syrah. So this wine technically could be 75% Syrah, 5% Mourvedre, 2% Viognier. It could be a bunch of other stuff, but it is 100% Syrah. So to put Syrah on the label, it must be at least 75% Syrah. That's one of the laws we have in California. But we don't have a law. In France, you can't blend Syrah with Cabernet because now you're blending a Rhone, wines that are grown in the Rhone with wines that are grown in Bordeaux. You're not allowed to do that. We can do that. We don't have any rules of what wines can or cannot be blended together.
Okay, so we did sight.
We did sight, yeah.
And then what's the next S?
We have to swirl the glass to let the wine express. We're exposing it to oxidation, increasing the amount of air that's coming in contact with the wine, which will change the aromas. So aromas are flavors and tastes you get from the vineyard. Bouquet are flavors and tastes you get from the winemaking, aromas and bouquets. So
cuando se prueba un vino hay que servirlo, y luego parte de las heces que están describiendo aquí Pablo es que es la vista, hay que verlo, cómo está de color, qué es lo que tiene, y luego menearlo, menearlo. ¿Para qué se menea? Why do we swivel? Because it needs to get air.
Para que tenga
oxidation, aeration. If you smell a wine right when you open it, it doesn't smell like much. You start giving it air. It's because oxygen is coming. If you want to get real technical again, oxygen comes in contact with the benzene rings, with the phenolics, with the aromatics, and it expresses those flavors that were hidden previously. Oxygen takes the place of other compounds, and now it becomes volatile. It's a volatile compound.
And what's the right way of smelling the aromas of aerating the wine?
Yeah, you're supposed to really get
Right here?
down deep in it. No. You're supposed to get your nose as close to the wine as possible, and it's fun and a good practice to do as a wine taster. Is to
So
try to
arrimarse bien el vino y tomar todo el aroma
see.
completamente, no de distancia, sino darle
No, señor.
que se dé el aire.
And you want to see if you can match the smell with the taste.
Okay.
So once you
That was
smell
good.
it, try to commit that smell to your memory. Maybe you're smelling plums, raisin, cranberry, blue. Try to analyze what you're smelling. And I say things like plums, berries, cranberries, cherries. Well, you first have to know what a plum tastes like. So, when you go to the supermarket, you should walk down the fruit aisle and smell all these. Smell a papaya and a cantaloupe. I mean, and close your eyes and smell it and commit that smell to your memory. Then when that smell returns, when you're tasting wine, you're like, oh yeah, that's papaya, that's cantaloupe. I recognize that smell, because I think a lot of times we eat without smelling, without really tasting. We just eat. Same thing with wine tasting. We just drink it without really analyzing it.
I usually just eat when I'm hungry.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
Well, let's try so that was the 2023 Syrah. Now we're going to a
Yeah, so
one year before.
when you actually smell it and sip it, it tastes more strong than it. Like it has a flavor. Actually, you can kind of catch the flavor in there.
Well, because you're combining your senses. You're not just using taste and sight, but now you also got that
The
other
smell.
sense of smell, which helps your taste. Yeah.
So this is cool and fun and different, because this is the same vineyard, different year, right? So now we're doing a vertical tasting, 2023 versus 2022. So the biggest difference was the year. 2023 was a hotter, drier year. 23 was a more wet, rainier year. We had a bigger crop in 23. But overall, they're the same amount of alcohol, 14.2. The pH, TA, residual sugar, when you look at the chemistry of the wine, is very similar.
And I
And
see
then-
legs on this one. What do we look for? What do you mean when people say, "Oh, check out the legs" or "see the legs"? What am I looking for on the legs?
Yeah, because alcohol is thicker than water. Alcohol sticks to the side of the glass and runs down. So if you see a lot of the wine sticking and running down slowly, it means it has a lot of alcohol in it. If you're swirling a glass and you don't see any legs, it's probably a low alcohol wine. So just an indication where you can figure out what the alcohol is before even tasting it. But
So el vino es como la mujer, hay que buscarle y verle las piernas.
right, exactly.
Okay.
The biggest difference of these wines is that one is a year older than the other. So like just right away trying the 22, you can smell more. It seems to be more opened up, more expressive. There's more to it. I get, more fruit qualities, but then more like an earthy element to it, because it's had more time in the bottle. So it's been aging longer.
Like on this one, I smell berries.
This is the 22 Syrah. So this one's still available at the tasting room. It's almost sold out. That's why I wanted to do a preview today of the 23 Syrah. Yeah, and it's interesting too how we talk about the mouthfeel of wine, the front, middle, back. This one has a nice finish. It kind of lingers on the back of your palate. It has a taste that kind of stays around on your palate. Really nice. 22 Syrah.
I felt like the second one was kind of more light than the first one.
Yeah, I think as wines age, they tend to get softer and smoother. So the 23 is still young and tight and angular. The 22 is now more, it's more refined, soft.
I get it. Okay.
So if you give the 23 another year, it'll taste just like the 22 does today, potentially. Well, let's try one more. We got our late harvest. I'll go ahead and pour it, Frankie.
This late harvest Zinfandel.
Yes. This vineyard no longer exists. So I was getting grapes on the west side, on the corner of Nacimiento Lake Drive in Adelaida. from the Dwayne from the Nut House is his property. Dwayne Jardine is his name. Good old Dwayne Jardine. And he only gets like a quarter of a ton per acre. It's a dry farmed vineyard, so there's no irrigating. He does minimal farming, and these grapes can get really ripe really fast. And it's a really pretty bottle. It's got our ballerina on the label, and it's only it was picked at 29 bricks, so this was super ripe. It was picked on October 20th, 2023 at 29 bricks. And it ended up being 2.5% residual sugar. So instead of the yeast consuming the sugar to completeness and fermenting it dry, the fermentation got stuck before it finished. So the wine was left partially sweet. So instead of restarting the fermentation and trying to have yeast eat up that last bit of sugar, I just left it alone and decided, hey, I'll just bottle this as is, because now it's a wine with high alcohol plus a sweet finish, and it can be a late harvest wine. So it's still not like syrupy sweet, and it has a touch of sugar. 2.5% is certainly not very sweet, but it is sweet.
And you can smell the sweetness.
Yeah, you can really pick up a lot of ripe characteristics, a lot of raisin. Like when I smell this, I just smell straight up, raisins and a berry pie, like a nice,
¿Tú qué le pruebas? ¿Qué le hueles?
¿Qué le huelo?
Porque yo huelo dulce.
Huele dulce. Huele
Right?
like está más, yeah. It smells like it's more sweet, like it's more.
Like right away in your nose. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This, talking about the, como le dices, piernas or legs?
Las piernas.
So just by looking at it, does this one has more alcohol than the other ones?
Yeah, it's 16.8% alcohol.
Yes,
the other ones were 14.2.
This one kind of looks more, you can kind of see them more in there.
There's not yeast. There's not yeast around that could ferment a wine to say 17-18% alcohol. It just doesn't work. The yeast are alcohol intolerant. So at a certain point, the yeast die, and you've got what you got. You got a wine that's a little sweet that fermented to a high amount of alcohol. But what's nice about this wine is because his grapes are where they're located, his terroir, his land, his soil. The grapes always have a really high amount of acid. So it's got that tart, acidic quality while being sweet. Watch out, Frankie. Frankie's dying.
Got that acid coming out.
Yeah, so I think with the acid-sugar balance, it's perfect. It works really well. It's a great wine. This is you don't have to have it as a part of a dessert course. You can just drink it, as kind of like a welcome to the party, as an entourage wine. It's
something
terrific
that I've paired with this Los Vinos sweet like that one, or the port that I told you it's my favorite. It's got one of his sculptures in the front. What is it?
The elephant?
Elephant, right?
I love that one too.
Okay,
I used to
a port.
Go ahead.
Okay, so you liked it.
I love
All right. Now, my pairing with that is I recommend dark chocolate with it.
Okay.
At the end of dinner. Have that at the end of dinner or with dessert. Have a New York style cheesecake with it. But plain. Don't have anything else on the cheesecake. Because when you have that piece of cheesecake and then you add the wine, you're adding that fruitness to it already, that sweetness. And it's such a great combination when you have cheesecake, New York style cheesecake, plain, con el port que hace Paul. Sabrosísimo.
Yeah, I had it. I had the port before with how's it called? It's a coffee cake that my wife makes. Have you tried it?
That's
Paolo?
great. Yes, I love coffee cake.
It has a special name. I don't remember right now, but it's a coffee cake. You have a slide of that, eat it, and drink it. Oh, it's really good.
Right.
The combination.
So it's the same with this cheesecake or dark chocolates.
Dark chocolates.
O un puro, un cigarro, un cubano.
Okay.
También lo recomiendo. Estás en la casa, relajado, un port y un puro. Sabroso.
Okay, I don't smoke, but that will be a good one. That sounds okay. Just a wine.
Oh, boy.
Well, thank you, everybody. This was a fun podcast. Thank you to Frankie and Noe for joining me today. I think this was a lot of fun, a great conversation. And again, like we're not trying to change the Mexican culture for drinking beer. We're trying to encourage them to try wine with food. Try wine with food. Again, there's so much great Mexican meat and spices and flavors and seasonings. Lots you can do. So I encourage you this Christmas, this New Year's, when you're having carne asada, try it with Cabernet. If you're having Al Pastor, try it with Zinfandel. Mariscos, Rosé, Viognier, Chardonnay, Pinot Grigio, all great ideas. So thank you guys for being on this podcast. I'd love to have you back.
No, thank you for inviting us.
And I want to say thank you too, Pablo, for inviting us, having us here. I'm going to also plug in for HBA. We'd like to welcome any and all business owners or new people out there. It's not just for businesses, nonprofits also, or individuals that want to come and join, be a part of us, and network and collaborate and be because we're out there celebrating culture and it's about getting different businesses and promoting each other and helping each other grow. Because that's where we're at right now on HBA. Even though it's been around since 2012, with COVID, it kind of went down because there was no, personal public, getting together. You weren't. Everybody was staying at home, so you weren't seeing each other. So right now we're in the process of revamping and regrowing. And I'd like to invite anyone and everyone. Like I told you, we have members from San Miguel, Shandon, all the way down to Ventura. So we're covering the whole Central Coast in California. And thank you, Pablo, for being the first winery and only winery that was there from the beginning of HBA as a member, and your support with your venue all the time and being a sponsor when we did those scholarships and those dinners and those fundraisers. Muchas gracias.
Yeah, we'll put a link in the description of the video so you can head to the HBA's website. You can join. You can email Frankie. Email
Look us up on
staff.
Facebook.
Yep.
Right.
I encourage you to join. It's a great group. Noe, thank you. I loved hearing your story, how you got here.
Awesome. Thank you.
What you've done. And it's nice that you're learning about wine and you're getting into it. So
Y lo vamos a seguir haciendo. Nos juntamos. Júntate con nosotros.
It's
Vamos
pretty
a
good.
seguir probando y comiendo con vino.
Oh, I love that.
Okay.
Eating and drinking. I mean it.
There you go.
I mean it.
Well, thank you, everybody. Again, please like the video, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'll be back next week. Have a great Christmas. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Thanks for watching.